When St. Teresa of Calcutta Villa opened in early 2022, it was hailed as a symbol of hope by Father Joe's president and CEO, Deacon Jim Vargas. I was there with a photographer that day, and the facility was impressive. 407 units of affordable housing for San Diegans transitioning out of homelessness. A plaza on the third floor, open-air decks on other floors, a nice place to welcome more than 400 people to a new home, a place where they could connect with services.
Attention, an emergency has been reported.
But residents say it wasn't long before all that hope and promise descended into something quite different, a building that was not properly maintained, and at the center of it all, the bank of 3 elevators. These pictures of the non-functioning elevators were provided to us by a resident.
I'm not supposed to use the stairs. I'm not supposed to lift anything over 5 pounds. I have severe degenerative disc disease.
That's Christina Ennis. She goes by her middle name, Maria. Ennis was one of the first residents of St. Teresa. She moved here in February of 2022. We first met her in July of 2023 when she and fellow resident Maurice Truhl got a lawyer and brought a lawsuit against Father Joe's and the company that runs the place, known as Commercial and 14th LLC.
There's many more people a lot worse off than I am that live in this building, people in wheelchairs and walkers and canes, all the way up to the 15th floor.
It's been kind of difficult because I like to come and go like I want to.
I have missed appointments because the elevators have been down.
We met Army vet Jimmy Williams when we visited the building last year. Williams uses a wheelchair. Nevertheless, building management placed him in a 4th floor apartment.
I don't think they care about us. That's what I'm thinking, because if they did, everybody that has walkers and wheelchairs automatically should be on the 1st floor. But being on the 4th floor and 3rd floor, we can't get out, and we're gonna die.
The allegations from Jimmy Williams, Maria Ennis, and Maurice Truhl were confirmed by Cal OSHA's elevator unit. In an email to KPBS, Cal OSHA told us they'd gotten confidential complaints in 2023 and 2024. They said when their inspectors went into the building, they found the elevators to be out of service for repair and/or maintenance. But Cal OSHA's elevator unit could not require the owners to get the elevators working again.
This is a violation of the fair housing laws that require access.
Enter attorney Ann Menashe. She's a longtime civil rights lawyer. She calls herself a bulldog for justice. She took up the case.
And constant breakdowns, either one working, 2 working, or none working, which was disastrous for people, including Michael Mendez, one of the plaintiffs, who ended up being stuck out of his apartment for hours, ended up in the hospital. I mean, just one disaster after another. And that is so incredibly irresponsible to not put the money in to have proper maintenance of elevators.
Menashe filed her lawsuit in July of 2023. At that time, Father Joe's said they couldn't talk about pending litigation, but they did provide a statement which said in part, FJV has an internal complaint process to remedy structural or maintenance issues residents may discover. And now, in 2025, there is a settlement. Building management is being compelled to fix the elevators and to keep them running.
And we have a mechanism in place with the court for 2 years that there'll be a court monitoring, and we can go to the judge if there's a problem that's not being handled properly. So we have that mechanism. There are also going to be quarterly meetings. So we are going to stay on top of it.
Now that the lawsuit is settled, we thought Father Joe's would be eager to be interviewed on the matter. I spoke on the phone with Father Joe's president and CEO, Deacon Jim Vargas, and he confirmed to me that he was aware the litigation had been resolved. He said he'd direct their media relations company, Mixty, to reach out to me. In fact, a public relations strategist there, Byron Kimball, did reach out. In an email, he said this is an active case and Father Joe's is not at liberty to comment on the proceedings. Knowing the case had been settled, I responded with that fact and asked if perhaps Kimball was referring to a different lawsuit. He responded that he was aware of the current situation and that, quote, Despite all that, Father Joe's Villages is not able to discuss this case or its proceedings at this time. We can't grant you an interview. I asked why they would not provide someone for an interview or even a statement. I never heard back. I've also tried calling and texting Deacon Vargas again. I have not received a response. I also reached out to the law firm that represented the building management company, 14th and Commercial LLC. I didn't get a response from them either. The lack of response from Father Joe's and the law firm aside, residents Maria Ennis and Maurice Truel are cautiously optimistic.
They've been a lot nicer now that things have been tightening up and the elevators have been fixed a lot more lately. Now that everything's coming together, there's a lot less tension in the building with residents and management and everything.
That's great because it's so many people in here that need things to work for them, especially when people that want to get out. You know what I'm saying? If the elevators don't work, it's difficult for people to come out and enjoy this weather. You know what I'm saying? This is a great thing.
A great thing that's now under court order to stay that way. John Carroll, KPBS News.